This is a good question I got. I got a question. Who was more important as a producer to said artist? Was it George Martin to the Beatles or Quincy Jones to Michael Jackson? This is a great question. I always appreciate when I get asked questions that people have, what it means in context. And I have to answer it the best way I know how. Um, both of them were important to said situations. I will start with Martin. He honed the Beatles and got their sound tightened. They first came out, they were more pop. They were pop, of course, but they were more considered like a boy band and another act that was influenced by R&B music. Blues, let's make no mistake about it. The Beatles thought themselves as like a British band that wanted to be black. They covered, twist, and shout. They were all very much influenced by Chuck Berry, Little Richard. So he gave them a stylist. He gave them the emphasis on sound, so they were more coherent. But their songwriting of Lennon and McCartney and with George Harrison times was enriched or had more of a quality balance with what he did. So he definitely understood that balance. Michael Jackson had already been a phenomenon with the Motown era from Berry Gordy to Gamble Huff, etc. So by the time he got with Quincy Jones, he was already a household name. It's just that it wasn't fine tuned. There's a difference between being big and then having that thing that takes you on that legendary path where there's no denying it. So they were a musical match made perfection because you took the jazz and the arrangements and the players and musicians of Quincy Jones and you put it with that greatness of Michael Jackson's vocal instrument, which could transcend so much. So it's like you're opening up so many avenues. So it's a matter where you come down. Um, the songs and the quality were timeless. I think that if I'm being honest, who I would say, I think the Michael Jackson Quincy Jones musical collaborations do it better. But I think Martin to the Beatles was needed more so because I think that he structuralized their sound. I even Quincy Jones was quoted as saying he didn't really think much of them as musicians and the different people came in. And everybody had parts and stuff. But Lennon McCartney's writing is what took so much of those songs. It wasn't so much the musicality. Michael Jackson could create music. He may not have reached the same heights, but let's not act like the Destiny album, the Triumph album was chopped liver, what they weren't good records, or the Dangerous album post Quincy Jones, or the fact that he produced a song like A Stranger in Moscow. He had quality. It's just that Quincy gave him a balance. He gave him the yin and the yang, and he put some songs in there that balanced out his creations. So they made a great as a dynamic. But I think George Martin and the Beatles needed more of it together to sound wise because I just don't think the Beatles McCartney was a really good bass player and could play. I don't think there was that distinctiveness. I think that without that, that would have been sloppy. Because as I remember, Maurice White did win an arrangement award for "Gotta Get You Into My Life" took the beat because a lot of his songs was kind of choppy in what it was done. Quincy had a slickness and a style, but again, it was a balance. But Michael Jackson's versatility as a performer, as an artist, balanced a lot of stuff out. So which one benefited the most? Well, it depends on what your criteria is. If you're talking about critical acclaim and sales and impact around the world, it's Michael Jackson with Quincy Jones. If we're talking about a styling for particular concepts, you could say the Beatles and George Martin. So it's a good battle of which situation because they're considered two of the four most important artistry entities. Talking about Michael Jackson and the Beatles, but the men that were behind the boards, but they were all collaborative efforts. Let's get this straight. The Beatles needed George Martin as much as he needed them, and Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones. They are equal collaborators. I don't like this title thing because, first of all, George Martin never produced anything that was going to rival the Beatles after, and certainly not before. And Quincy Jones, too. He never had somebody before he worked with Michael Jackson that rivaled it, and surely not after. So it's a collaborative. So we come from the collaborative. We want to say which side benefit the most, and it's debatable. And I'm looking forward to what people got to say in the comments below. I want looking forward to it. Please hit like, subscribe, book of thoughts, comments. And I do respond, thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear. Watch out for another share. If you like, hit that membership because when you do the videos you request, I bring them back to you. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay true, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.